Hi, this is Hall of Famer Eric Dickerson.
What's up, everybody? I'm Matt Leinart, 2004 Heisman Trophy winner.
Hey, I'm Zane Gonzalez.
Hi, I'm Matt Barry from ESPN. You're getting ready to watch one of the best college football podcasts ever. It's the Harris Highlight Show.
You're watching the Harris Highlight Show.
And you're watching the Harris Highlight Show.
And you're listening to the Harris Highlight Show. Enjoy it.
Na 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 na.
Coming to you live from beautiful Monrovia, California. This is the Harris Highlight Show Quarantine Edition. Joining me this week is our college football analyst, Josh Schaefer.
Hello.
I thought we were getting the shirt reveal now. Our college football expert, Lyle Goldstein. Our executive producer, Brady Klein, and I am your host for the evening, Blake Harris. Now, we have a very exciting show, guys, because Josh has a pretty big shirt unveil that he's ready to go. So as you guys know, it's an SEC show tonight, and usually every week, whatever the conference is, Josh is wearing some sort of merchandise in regards to that shirt. So for the SEC, he does have like a Tennessee pullover that he's not wearing because it's too hot. So get those guesses in. It's not going to be Tennessee. So Josh, I honestly have no clue what you're rocking underneath that sweater or sweatshirt. It's about 95 here, so I'm sure it's hot there. So I'm sure you're dying to take it off. So guys, before he takes his shirt off, any guesses for what school he's rocking?
You're muted.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. My guess is Vanderbilt, like 100% Vandy, just the most obscure SEC you could go with.
I'm going to go with Auburn.
I'll drink my tea.
And my guess is going to be Florida. So we all have different guesses, and I guess we'll see,
that bus.
So I've had this for 6 years and have never worn it for a show. But guys, the real USC. No, we all know it's not the real USC, but yeah, I've had this for since I was a junior in high school. So like six and a half years, been waiting to break this baby out, but it's a large. And it's like, it fits me fine up top. It just hangs far. It's one of those larges where like they just expect you to have the longest torso ever.
Yeah.
And it's just my torso's not that long, so I just never wear it in public.
Luckily, we don't see your lower body. We could say the same for Blake from last week because apparently Blake didn't wear pants for last week's show, guys.
I never wear pants on the show. I'm always rocking the boxers during the show.
Go figure. That's
Go
not surprising at all.
Why not? All right, guys, a very fun, exciting show. Lots to get to. Can you guys hear these birds that are going absolutely crazy right now?
I love them.
Because I don't know what's going on out there, but there's something going on with these birds. So lots to get to before we get to our full SEC breakdown. We have actually Coach O joining us right now. How's it going, Coach O?
Hey, man, how you doing, baby?
Have you guys been following along how like all off season there have been like Coach O spottings while he's running?
Dude, he just goes running. He was apparently doing it in the rain the other day too.
There was like one from a month ago when it was just like 90 degrees outside and he was shirtless and absolutely drenched in sweat. And I guess there was another one, the other day where it was like raining outside or something. So Coach O sightings, they're everywhere. But we have some things to get to first, boys. First things first, these birds are still going strong. If you guys haven't already, make sure to go over to Spotify or Apple Podcasts. You guys can officially listen to the show there. We're not just on YouTube anymore. So if you missed some of the show, or if you want to go back and re-listen to it when you're in the car, when you're working out, doing anything, head on over at the Harris Highlight Show. You can just search us, or the links are in the description of this as well. Make sure to go follow us on Twitter at the HH Show _. We have, I think, 945 followers, something like that. So the next 5 people that go give us a follow at the HH Show _, you guys are getting a shout out because you guys rock. Help us get to 950. We want to hit 1,000 subscribers soon. Are you guys sure you guys can hear these birds?
No.
Okay,
I can't hear them.
That's great. That's just my Yeti mic that's picking up everything in the front because they are going absolutely crazy. So make sure to go follow us.
Name drop your microphone. Come on.
I
dude.
did. Not a sponsor unless they want to be. We'll take a Yeti sponsorship. Next order of business.
I'd rather an Arby's sponsorship, but whatever.
I mean, I'm down for an Arby's sponsorship. I'm very down for that. Next order of business,
Canes.
boys. I'm down for Canes as well. We all love
the
food.
Coach O Canes videos are the greatest thing ever. Sorry, just had to get that out there.
All right, guys. Next order of business. We have officially opened up the Super Chat for our upcoming shows. Now, for those of you that don't know, Super Chat, it's a way where you guys can actually help out the show. You guys, if you want to donate $1, if you guys want to donate $2, if you guys want to donate $5, we will gladly accept. The money is actually going to go towards helping Josh and Lyle pick up microphones. So that way they can be like Brady and I and actually be professionals when we do the show. Brady and I, we got these awesome microphones.
They sound really, really good.
Josh and Lyle, they don't have any microphones, so the money would help go towards them getting the mics. So that way their quality can sound good, and that way we can probably invest in a video software other than Zoom. That way our quality can look better. That way we don't have the Zoom watermark on the show. Just overall to make the show a little bit better. Now, if you guys donate again, if you guys donate $1, $2, however much you have, that's fantastic. I think there's like a little notification that pops up when you guys donate. So we have hundreds of questions that happen during the Q&A. This guarantees you your question to be answered during the Q&A. Again, we're still going to be answering a lot of questions, but I know some people, they have some that they really want to answer where we can't get to it necessarily. So again, if you can't donate, that's okay. This is just if you have $1 or $2 that you want to help go towards, getting these guys some mics, helping improve our whole thing. So that way we can keep doing this moving forward. And that way it also goes towards paying the monthly dues to keep the show on Spotify and Apple Music. Because unfortunately, that's not free. Unfortunately, you have to pay top dollar. I think it's like $1,000 in order to keep the shows on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So we're sparing no expense. Well, I'm sparing no expense for you guys. So
also
again,
take all of the expense. So
yeah, guys.
Short Round knows what's up. Short Round knows
Guys,
what's up.
our last show made $8. So if you really want me to divide it by 4 and you guys can each get your $2, I will gladly do so. But again, if you guys want to donate a couple bucks, going over to that super chat right there, and you guys can just help us out any way you can. But guys, we've got all that out of the way. Before we get to some order of business, major shout out to Lions_fan02, Matthew, Zach Went, and Kickfinity. They ran over and they just followed us on Twitter. So shout out to you guys. We've hit 950 right now. So there we go. But guys, it's time now for everyone's favorite part. It's time to get to the realignment. Before we get to the SEC realignment, we need to talk about who won last week. Now, it was a very close finish, guys. It was a very close finish. Brady, I don't know if you have the map. All right, so before we get to the map, here are the final results. Lyle, you ended up getting votes last week, bud. I think we were like 40 votes in and you didn't have any. Lyle comes in last place with 9.1% of the vote. Brady comes in third place with 15.5% of the vote. I come in second place with 23.2% of the vote, and running away with 52.3% is Josh. It's the biggest landslide we've had so far. So Josh, here's your proposed Big Ten. It's now the official Big Ten. You can give a quick minute explanation for those that missed it last week on pretty much how you made your decision, how it looks, and you can take the floor.
Leave it to Josh to just sip his tea as he's winning.
Yeah, I mean, as I said last week, and as I've said a couple of weeks before when we've done all of these realignments, people have been sticking with the show, and especially watching us live on YouTube, and they can see it like right in front of them. They know that I've kind of been big on kind of reestablishing these rivalries. So dropping Notre Dame into the conference and maybe getting something going with Northwestern like they used to have, starting that rivalry up with Michigan was big for me. Dropping in Pitt to do a rivalry, to make it an in-conference rivalry with Penn State was big for me. I like keeping 3 teams in the state of Indiana. Maybe we can get something going there, and then moving Iowa State from the Big 12. So the additions that I had where I added Iowa State from the Big 12, added Notre Dame from being independent, added Cincinnati, and maybe there's something there with Ohio State. I don't know. That was kind of a shot in the dark, but I think they would fit well with the overall conference. And then Pitt, so we get a Pennsylvania rivalry between them and Penn State. And it also kind of keeps the divisions fairly even. I know that people have pointed out that South Bend is actually further east than Bloomington is. But man, that would just be one stacked division, wouldn't it be? But yeah, that's ultimately what I decided to do. Nebraska went to the Big 12 and Rutgers went to wherever they decided to go.
Max and
I like
Rutgers
it.
to the Ivy League.
I like it. But guys, all right, before we get to this, we have our first donation. Scott Gilliam, Dilly. We are on the way, boys, towards getting those new microphones. He donated
Cheers to
$2. So Scott, and he says North Carolina is the real Carolina. So Josh, I think Scott's coming after you right now, saying that's the real North Carolina.
I'll have to get a North Carolina shirt.
Blake, you'll be happy to know. You'll be happy to know I just ordered a mic today, so the funds can go elsewhere.
Oh,
all right.
What about reimbursement, Lyle? Don't get rid of free money, dummy.
Idiot.
Yeah.
Dude.
All right.
Moron. Moron.
So major shout out to Scott. Thank you very much, Scott. And also Baylor06 says, Harris highlights. I bet you don't see this, but I do see it. So guys, we're going to get things underway. And as we do every week, after we give all 4 of our proposed conferences, we are going to post it on Twitter. Now, doing it last week was actually a great idea because we did it right as we finish. Where normally we do when the show ends. So right when we finish, I think 5:30, 5:35, the post is going to go up. You guys can go vote for who you think has the best, and that's going to be the winner in next week's show. So Brady, you're kicking things off this week with your.
Is this with random.gov that decided again?
Oh, it is random.gov,
yeah,
random.com, random everything. It's random.random. So Brady, it shows you've been selected. So let's kick things off with your SEC this week, bud.
So to quickly recap, I've already gotten rid of 2 teams from the SEC, that being Missouri and Kentucky. Missouri made its way to the Big 12, and Kentucky made its way last week in my Big 10. I'm sticking with those realignments on mine, not the ones that have been voted on. So let's pull mine up and share this. So I stayed pretty simple with it. I didn't want to get too crazy. So the teams that I have in my SEC are Florida, Georgia. I added Miami, South Carolina, the real Carolina, as Josh says, Tennessee, Alabama, Arkansas, Auburn, LSU, Mississippi State, Texas A&M, and then I wanted to bring Florida more into the mix, so I brought UCF and Florida State up into the SEC from their respected conferences, and got rid of, obviously, Missouri, got rid of Vanderbilt, their move to the MAC, because why not? Because the MAC needs to become a powerhouse in some sense, and then Kentucky made their way to the Big Ten in last week's show. Don't have a conference divide, still really didn't think about what it would be. I think I have 14 teams, so it might be able to be like Florida State, Florida, UCF, Miami, Auburn, Georgia, and South Carolina. So do a diagonal split there like I have in ones past.
Can we just appreciate that every week Brady just one-ups us on how nice he makes his just title? Obviously. Like the fact that it looks like exactly just like the SEC thing. So well done. But I mean, overall, I mean, we've seen in the past, Brady yeeted some teams out of the Pac-12. He's had some controversial takes, and I mean, overall, not bad. It'll be interesting to see what people in the comments think about you adding Florida State, UCF, and Miami to it. But I'm looking at it right now, and a lot of people are saying solid job, well done. They're just questioning your decision to have no divisions, but I guess you're taking.
I just sort of forgot. So my divide will be, the 4 schools in Florida, and then Auburn, Georgia, South Carolina. Yeah. I just didn't put the line in. Here, let's see if we can do this here.
Oh, it's all good. I was just waiting for the 2 of them if they had anything they wanted to add.
Geographically speaking, I think it's pretty well balanced too. When it comes to the SEC, I'll even give a teaser for what I did, or my mindset going into this. I had a lot of this was the hardest one to do, I thought, because there was no clear, for me at least, and it honestly looks very similar for Brady. It was very hard to be like, all right, this team for sure is out and this team for sure is in. And if I can guess, I don't know if any of us are going to have huge, crazy SEC conferences now. But I think Brady's is a really good start because it's very solid and it's also very contained.
And then obviously, like we've talked about, and someone brought this up in the comments, is that Alabama and Auburn, even though separated, will be a protected rivalry, like we've seen in previous realignments that we've done.
Yeah. Hey guys, we got $2 from our good buddy Andrew Coster, and he said, "Josh, with this $2, go burn that shirt." Go burn that shirt.
I appreciate the He also said earlier that North Carolina is the real Carolina. So, I mean, I would agree with you. I think that maybe South Carolina is not the real USC, and maybe they're not the real Carolina too.
Now, I know that like Josh and I, we hate, I mean, who knows? I mean, living in the South, who knows how they actually treat the whole USC thing, but I know we absolutely hate it. But I think there's actually one person that truly just hates South Carolina more than us, and it's Andrew. Like he just, I mean, as a Clemson fan, it makes sense, but he absolutely hates them. So he's probably not too happy. So Josh, I mean, he gave a very generous donation. So you might want to actually just go shirtless and actually make everything better for everyone. Also, we
appreciate it, Andrew.
Also, major shout out to Kickfinity. He chipped in $2 as well. So Kickfinity, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Boys, we are on the way towards getting nice mics for you guys. We are on the way. We're on the way to paying back Lyle for getting his today because he just went and got it on his own. So shout out to Lyle there. Before we move on to
real quick, I got to say I appreciate Pac-12 Shorts. He said I'm winning at the moment, so I'll always have that from him.
But you're also losing, Brady.
I'm also losing.
You also have the worst.
You also
have the worst. Yeah. Before we move on to the next one, guys, major shout out right now to at Midway 624 Joshua P. Thompson, Edelweiss Gamer, and Luke Boyette 1. They just went and they followed us on Twitter as well. So if you guys want a shout out from your Twitter handle, go follow us right now so we can hook you guys up. Brady, I don't even remember who I told you goes next. Oh no, I do remember. It is Josh. Josh, you've been chosen. Thanks for random.com. So
sweet,
buddy. You've won 2 of the 3 weeks. You can officially lock things down this week with an official power move on your part being commissioner if you can get 3 of the first 4. So will you take a commanding lead? Will someone make this a little interesting? I guess we'll have to wait and see right now. So take it away.
Yeah, I mean, this was a fun one, Brady. Before you put it up, to recap what I had done in the past, I had not re-added Texas A&M to the Big 12 like some of you guys had. So that's maybe something to look forward to going in. And I had put Mizzou back into the Big 12. Which I'll actually touch on a little bit here. So Brady, for the YouTube viewers, you can put up that map. So basically, my biggest changes here, there's only one. Mizzou's out, Florida State's in. That's my only change to the SEC. And actually, the West Division stays exactly the same. So 1 team in, 1 team out. That's Mizzou back to the Big 12. Florida State moves from the ACC to the SEC. So the new divisions, 1 division remains exactly the same. That's the West. And that's Alabama, Arkansas, Auburn, LSU, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and A&M stays in the SEC. And then for the East, this is the one that's a little bit different now. Florida, Florida State, Georgia, Kentucky, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Vanderbilt. Again, like I said, I had a lot of trouble with this one. I'll be totally honest with you guys, and this is something to look forward to for the ACC. I originally had Georgia Tech coming into the SEC and leaving Florida State in the ACC, but I thought that maybe it would help Georgia Tech get better. Maybe they would kind of get squashed in the SEC. So what I decided to do is I put in a team that I thought could compete in the near future, and that's Florida State, obviously one of the top programs of all time. They almost joined the SEC, but also doing this, like it kind of balances out the divisions a little bit because if you guys look at this map, I mean, and for those listening, imagine the Gulf of Mexico. You take LSU and Louisiana. The state immediately above Louisiana is Arkansas, and the state immediately above that is Missouri. And Mizzou was was close to the border. It was like the second westernmost school in the conference, and it was in the East Division. So when they created the new SEC in like 2011, 2012, they like didn't care about geography at all. They just dropped A&M and Mizzou into the conference. So that was a huge part of this, was taking out Mizzou and putting in Florida State. It like completely balances out those 2 divisions. And then to quickly touch on Miami and Florida State, the reason I put Florida State in is because FSU and Florida have a longer standing rivalry than Florida and Miami do, for example. So moving forward, I think that Florida State and Miami could have one of those protected rivalry games. But you guys know how big I've been in rivalries with this. So putting Florida State into the conference, I think balances out the divisions. It has another conference rivalry for Florida and Florida State. And I also think it ultimately makes the conference as a whole a lot more competitive without making it totally lopsided or really detracting from another conference.
I'm really trying to figure this one out because half the people are saying like, yeah, Josh just won it. Fantastic. And the other half are just saying like, like they're saying Josh like blew a lead. They're saying Josh choked. There's no kind of like, yeah, it's okay. I kind of like Brady's better. It's good. It's like people either love this or they hated it, which I really don't understand how, considering it's essentially the same thing aside from like Florida State. So Josh, I don't know if you've been reading these comments, but it's like, this might be the most divided people have been for a conference so far.
Yeah, wow.
And I really don't understand why, because like there's like no change. So
yeah,
again,
I mean, it's really similar to Brady's. I mean, we both added Florida State. I don't know, and I think that, and some people had kind of mentioned that that if you take Vanderbilt and put them in the West, and then Auburn put them in the East, it's more of that geographical divide, which is a good point. But the way that I looked at it was, I think the stronger football rivalry, and I'll lead back to what I did last week. I put Purdue and IU in different divisions in the Big Ten, but I think that stronger football rivalry is the Iron Bowl. So that's why I left, and I could leave one division completely untouched, which I thought if I could do that and still add a team to the conference and change the dynamic of the conference a little bit, but leave one division completely untouched, I thought that was a good idea. And it's not, I really don't know if you can take out Vanderbilt though. Because I mean, think about, I know it's a football show and I've kind of said this before, but I kind of think about what else they bring to the conference too. And I mean, I could not imagine Vanderbilt anywhere else as like an athletic department.
Hey, we here at the Harris Highlight Show, we take academics very seriously.
So funny enough, Josh,
academics, top priority right there. So that's why we got to keep Vanderbilt in.
Josh, you say that earlier when I was doing mine. I had my notebook next to me, and you can't see it here, but right there it says, keep Vandy for baseball. So they're out for football.
Cooper Davis, Canada.
But keep Vandy for baseball.
Man, some people really don't like it. I see a lot of Fs. I mean, that's really strange.
The only thing I will say, I guess, for both you and Brady is, so all the geography makes sense. The only thing is you're kind of turning the ACC for Clemson from a cakewalk into like a cakewalk on their knees. Because like I don't know the last time Florida State or Clemson didn't win the ACC.
Well,
that's my
but Lyle, it's also worth pointing out that recency bias is a thing. And I don't want to call out fans or anything, but like maybe that's another reason why some people really love it and some people really hate it. Like some people didn't understand moving Nebraska conferences, and it's like Nebraska's a top 10 program like ever. So I mean, like Clemson has not been good until like the last 10 years too. So I mean, Florida State almost made the move to the SEC in the first place, which was one thing. But I also, alluding to next week, I thought that there were more teams that you could add to the ACC than you could to the SEC, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
For me, I would not and Brady did, because why not? I could not put UCF in the SEC because I don't think that Florida mapped. Like if they played Florida every year, as good as UCF has been, I don't see that. I don't see that working for UCF, for example. That's just my thing.
Yeah.
But maybe they could work in the ACC.
I think at this point now, people are just like getting in on the inside joke and just teaming up to really get Josh going, because now everyone's just coming in. Andrew comes in clutch here. He said the last time anyone other than Clemson or Florida State won the ACC was in 2010. Without looking at the comment, guys, I don't know if you guys already saw it. Can you guys guess who the last non-Clemson or Florida State team was?
Was that Virginia Tech?
I was going to say that was my guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're all right. So Virginia Tech. So shout out to Andrew for helping us out there. Now, guys, according to random.com, I'm actually not going last this week. It's going to be Big L Lyle. So I guess save the best for last. So I'm going to be going third this week. I know the comments are going to be absolutely brutal on this one. Brady, before you get it up, I texted this to our group chat today while making these lists. I completely forgot to include some schools that completely kind of not really messed it up by a ton, but I did forget to include some schools that kind of messed it up, where I was having to have a back and forth thing today where, because we only have the ACC left, I had like 19 teams in the ACC, like 17 teams in the SEC, where it was like I was just having to add all the teams that I forgot about, and I had to make some things work. So there's a few more teams in the SEC than I would have liked. And, I guess I'll just have to explain it when Brady gets it on the screen, but here's my new and improved SEC. So, ladies and gentlemen, take a seat because we're in for a wild and bumpy ride with a lot of turbulence. So, first and foremost, let me talk about Indiana and Purdue. Last week, I didn't have them in my Big Ten. And
neither did I.
A lot of people were like, oh, how can you not have Indiana, Purdue? They're rivals. They got to be together. Well, they remain together, but they're in the SEC now. So not only can they lose, they can still lose together. They can lose in style now together. So we got Purdue and Indiana. They stay. I got Missouri and I got Arkansas. And I'm seeing a bunch of comments right now. Oh, boy. Hey, I'm having fun with this. That's the whole point. I mean, yes, we are running college football now. We do want to, change things up, but half the thing is having a lot of fun. We got Louisville. We got them coming into the SEC as well. I really like that move. I really like it. Now I think is there some sort of like Discord or something where everyone's just like, all right, guys, here's what we're going to do. We're going to team up on someone because someone said, why are Indiana and Purdue in Indiana? Well, I think that's because they're both in the state of Indiana.
Blake, you put them in Illinois.
Oh, I did? Oh, boy. Well, that's why. Well, that just goes to show how bad mine is, and I don't know geography that well. Hey, I was doing my taxes today. I was working on my student loans. I had to put this together really quick, so there's my explanation. At this point, since I've lost, let me just explain and tell you why this is the best one. We go down to Tennessee. Now, I did, in fact, get those in the right state. We got Vanderbilt staying, but now we're adding Memphis because, hey, Memphis in the SEC, they're going to win at least 10 games, guaranteed. Moving down, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, LSU. We got Alabama, Auburn. Nothing really changes there. We got Florida there still in the state of Florida. But I did add Georgia Tech. Because I thought it'd be nice to bring them back to the SEC, enhance that Georgia Tech-Georgia rivalry just a bit. I know Georgia's kind of been struggling as of late. Fun fact, guys, one of those two teams has actually won a national championship in the last 30 years, and it's Georgia Tech. So let's make Georgia Tech football great again. And there is the greatest SEC conference ever. We now have 182 people watching. I think that's the most we've ever had. And I'm glad they're all watching because they can see what is in fact the greatest SEC conference that's ever been assembled. I know all you people are writing in the chat, LLL, all this stuff, but I know you're just hiding the fact that you really like it and you don't want to be the one guy that says you do like it. So that's more than okay with me.
Someone in the comments,
the polls will tell.
Someone in the comments said, Blake, you're a moron. Who was that?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that was me. That was me.
That
was me.
I know. Hey, geography was back in 5th grade when I was there in 1986. So
Didn't you win like the geography bowl, or was it a spelling bee?
No, I was the 5th grade class president.
That's what it was. Okay.
So yeah, you didn't win anything.
You won nothing.
Rigged election. Wait a minute. You have a family tradition in politics.
We do. Well, except I win. Except I win. Hey, Cajun Chris said, Blake, this is amazing. So thank you, Cajun Chris. It is amazing. Boys, I've been roasted in the comments, so let me have it. Brady, if you want to keep it on the screen for more people, if they're coming in, they can see it. But I want to get your guys' thoughts on my SEC.
It's out there. It's definitely out there. I feel like this is like I really thought that coming into this, it would have been a little. I really didn't expect you to make too many changes to this, but
you were
wrong. I will say the one addition that I do like is Memphis, because that's one that I considered from the beginning, but ultimately put him in the Big 12. And I called you this morning and asked maybe how we wanted to do logistical, like the logistics with this, because I was considering maybe moving Missouri back to the SEC. So I do like that you put him in there. Somebody also said, Blake, yours is not terrible. So, hey.
At least you got that going for you.
Yeah,
I'll be curious to see if you get more votes on this one than I did last week, because I did everybody a favor of kicking some bad teams out of the Big Ten, and everybody hated it. You've now taken those bad teams and added them to the conference that just means more. And are you going to get more votes? We'll see.
Like, I love the fact that you added Purdue University of Illinois and Indiana University of Illinois. Those are great programs there, especially the Illinois-based campuses and teams that they have based out of those.
Maybe it's like BYU, man. BYU's got a campus in Provo. They got a campus in Idaho. They got a campus in Hawaii. Maybe somewhere deep down there actually are small Purdue and Indiana campuses.
Well, there is actually like an Indiana University of Pennsylvania. So there's some random
What about IUPUI? I should have added it to the Big Ten.
I thought about that. That was a good one. IUPUI, Iwi Piwi.
All right. Well, the good thing about me going third, guys, is the fact that Lyle gets to follow me. So either mine's going to look that much better right now, or Lyle's going to straight up make me look even worse. So Lyle, the
Before
pressure
Lyle
is.
goes, can we point out that people like yours way better than mine for some reason?
Hey, I'm not shocked. Mine's better.
I did people a favor last week, and I got no votes. Poor football. I took it out of that.
Wait, Brady, if you could do me a quick favor and go back to my photo, there is something I forgot to mention that I would like to add that is actually going to make my conference that much better. Now, for those of you guys that remember, I don't believe in divisions at all, but actually this is going to be the first conference where I begin divisions. Division 1 is going to feature Purdue, Indiana, Missouri, Arkansas, Memphis, Louisville, Vanderbilt, and Tennessee. And then I have my division of death, the division of godly death that features Florida, Georgia, Georgia Tech, Auburn, Alabama, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and LSU. Those are my 2 divisions. And what's going to happen is if you win the division that's in the godly tier, you then, by winning the division in the conference, you get to move to the really bad division the following year. And whoever gets whoever gets first place in the bad division, they move to the good division the following year.
I'm going to lose to this.
You just thought of that right now, Blake. I can tell it's terrible.
How am I going to lose to this?
Okay, Brady, you can put Lyle's up now.
Right, okay, so Brady, before you pull it up, I just want to give a disclaimer for people who see this. So keep in mind, I went based off the previous polls we've done. So Blake won the Big 12, and he had Texas A&M in his Big 12. So I left them out because I didn't want to have them in 2 conferences. And then in my Big 12 a couple weeks ago, I tried to put Kentucky in mine, so I left them out of this conference too, because again, the overlap. So those 2 teams are not in it, and especially A&M is the one I wanted to make the emphasis on because obviously they're a really good team. They're just in another conference now. So with that, you can pull it up, Brady. It's not as crazy as last week. I did not kick 5 teams out of the conference.
Wow, UCF's playing in the ocean.
You know what? The state of Florida to actually put those schools in is small. But
zoom in.
I did it like this because so with the SEC as it stands now has 14 teams. I already mentioned no Kentucky, no A&M. That makes 12. I kicked out Vanderbilt. I'm sorry, you guys don't cut it. This, you know what? There has to be some standard, especially for the SEC, that they do not meet. So I removed them, and I decided, okay, there's 11 teams in this conference. Who am I going to add? Originally, I thought, yeah, maybe UCF would be better in the ACC. Maybe that would be a better starting spot for them to move out of a Group of 5 conference and into a Power 5 conference. I mean, I'm looking at this now. UCF is 35-4 over the last 3 years. And since 2010, I think they've had 6 10-win seasons. So if people want to call them the national champs like they did 2 years ago, I don't believe that. But there are people out there that legit say that. I have 2 friends, one from home and one from ASU, who legitimately believe UCF won the title 2 years ago. If people are that serious about it and believe they're as good as any team in the country and can beat any team in the country, then put them in the toughest conference and see what they can do. They beat Auburn 2 years ago. If you really think you can beat Bama consistently, if you think you can beat LSU consistently, if you think you can beat Georgia consistently, let's see it. So I didn't do anything too crazy with this conference. But again, the 2 teams were already previously removed. Vanderbilt was kicked just for not being able to cut it record-wise. And UCF was added. So, I mean, this one was not as crazy as last week. But I don't know. Everybody's pretty compact. Everybody's pretty competitive. I thought this one was less crazy than last week.
Well, Lyle, a bunch of people in the comments, they're saying you won. A lot of them are saying, but just by yanking Vanderbilt, you won. So that's all it took to yank Vanderbilt. But a lot of people are they're praising. They're also going off on UCF about being the whole national champion. Because I was going to mention, wow, you got both of the 2017 national champs in the same conference, likely maybe even the same division. They had a parade at Disney World, so it must be legit.
I got to be honest, Lyle. I'm absolutely disgusted. I cannot believe you took out the team that 2 years ago Blake said was going to give Alabama a run for its money in Nashville. How dare you kick Vanderbilt out?
I forgot about that.
Hey, the defensive lineman or the offensive tackle, I forget what it was he said. He had me so hyped for that game. And I think it was something like Alabama minus like 10.5, where it was like a fairly respectable line. And then, yeah, Alabama just comes and they beat Vanderbilt like 59-0. And I'm like, okay, shoot. But overall, well done, Lyle. Well done.
Thanks, Blake. How did you possibly think that? Can we stay on that for a second? Whatever anybody said, like, come on, this is Alabama we're talking about. They don't lose to anybody. They certainly don't lose to Vanderbilt. Like,
hey, I know. Did I say they were going to win, or did I say Vanderbilt was going to make it a game? Like, maybe
make it a game, but
you didn't say you said they were going to give them like a run for their money or something. Like you said they were going to keep it close, and didn't they lose like 44-0?
No, I straight up think. Let me like look this up right now. I think it was something like in the 50s. Because I remember like Tua Tagovailoa literally played like the entire second half. Yeah, it was 59-0.
Jesus.
Hey, but in my defense, Vanderbilt was 3-0 going into that game. So they were riding a hot streak. One of their guys was talking mad game about how they're going to pull off the upset, and it was at home. So I thought it was going to be the thing. But guys, talk for about 15 seconds so I can go tweet out the polls.
I'll do that. Brady, I see the fourth Jonas brother on your mini whiteboard.
Yeah, dude.
And that is who?
Me. I'm the fourth Jonas brother.
Actually, Coach O is no longer the coach of LSU. That would be Coach Doug's. Coach O is now.
You're right.
Else.
You're right, man. You know, I got to give credit to Coach Doug's. He did a great job taking over for me at the program. But I'm now running Coach O's Shrimp and Gumbo down in Baton Rouge. elite dining establishment. Nothing but the best. The number one special. It's called the Jamar Chase. The number 7 is called the Joe Burrow all the way, and that's just got a bunch of shrimp, chicken, and all the good stuff piled on top. About 50 pounds of crawfish too. Actually, isn't it like 56 pounds of crawfish? 1 pound for every touchdown pass he threw this year.
Well,
I would eat there.
It sounds like a great place.
Yeah, sure.
Well, yeah. The poll is officially up, ladies and gentlemen. The poll
no
is
longer sponsored by Canes.
So head on over to our Twitter at the HH Show _. You guys can vote. It's the pin tweet. Vote for who you think has the best SEC conference. We're going to keep keeping you guys up to date with the live updates and everything. So again, if you have a Twitter, go follow us at the HH Show _ and make sure you guys vote for who you think has the best SEC. Guys, I mean, a lot of people, I mean, they were talking mad game. They were saying Josh has the worst. They were saying Brady dubs, me L's, Lyle dubs. But I guess people are going to have to put, their vote where their mouth is. Were people just messing with us, or they truly think that? So head on over there, go vote. We want to see what you guys think. And the first update, guys, 4 votes in. We each have a vote, so we're all tied at 25%.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, 10. That's the closest it's ever been between the 4 of us.
All right,
4 votes.
We have that. So we have a few topics of discussion before we get to the Q&A. So today's show might go a little longer than normal because there is some stuff I wrote down. As I mentioned, when we get to the Q&A, you guys have a chance to get your question guaranteed to be answered. If you just donate $1 or $2, again, that helps towards going to getting mics for Lyle and Josh, helping us get a better system than Zoom. Again, anything is appreciated, but this way, since we get so many questions here on YouTube and on Twitter, this guarantees your questions asked. So again, heading over to the super chat. If you have $1, by all means, go right ahead and donate. Guys, there's a few things I wrote down. There was going to be one topic that we were going to go over, and I guess we can actually start with that because that's like the biggest piece of news. So Lyle actually didn't hear about this, so I'm not exactly sure how many people out there even heard about this today. But essentially tomorrow, the Ivy League is getting together, and they're likely going to announce that all fall sports are going to take place in the spring, meaning the fall, meaning that college football is going to be played in the spring. Now, for those of you who don't remember, the Ivy League was the first one back in early March to cancel their conference tournament for basketball. And then everyone kind of followed right after. So there are rumors going on that once the Ivy League makes it official, likely tomorrow, that might be the stepping point for other conferences to maybe follow suit since they don't want to be the ones. So if this is true, if the Ivy League does in fact announce tomorrow that they are moving college football into the spring, one, do you think that's a good idea? Now, but their definition of spring, that can mean maybe end of February. It could mean like middle of April when it starts. I'm not exactly sure what their definition of starting the season is, but if that happens, one, do you think it's a smart idea? Two, do you think we could potentially see some other conferences, maybe not any of the big guys, but maybe, school teams like in the MAC, maybe, I'm just trying to think like the Sun Belt, conferences like that. Do you think they might follow suit after someone started it?
I think that definitely. See, the Ivy. So here's the thing: the Ivy League typically does a lot of their own things. It seems like they were the first conference to outright cancel all of their sports before some conferences had even canceled a basketball tournament. Like the SEC had canceled the SEC, sorry, the Ivy League had canceled all of their spring sports while we were still broadcasting the Pac-12 tournament in Vegas. And it was like, we did not know whether or not the championship would even be canceled. We still were preparing as if we were going to be there for the whole tournament. So the Ivy League tends to do a lot of things kind of on their own. With all of the smaller conferences, maybe like the American and the MAC and the Big East and things like that, I would think that a lot of these conferences are probably just going to operate with the NCAA as a whole. So I would not be surprised to see everybody do college football or nobody do college football this fall. And that's the way that I see it.
Yeah, I think Josh said it pretty well. And my answer, I know it's kind of a boring one, but I mean, the honest truth is it depends with the rest of college football. The Ivy League may very well move all their sports to the spring and just do their own thing on their own. With the rest of college football, I think it's still like a day-by-day process. For example, like this is just one school and one team, but like a piece of good news I saw today, for example, Notre Dame tested 103 kids, and for the first time, everybody came back negative. So that's one school where things are looking up. Now, that's going to happen with a lot of other schools for things to keep going swimmingly. But I think Josh is right. I think kind of what the NCAA says, everybody's going to kind of operate and follow their guidelines, and it's still going to be a day-by-day, week-by-week process.
You know, for me, and you look at it, especially with my new and improved Ivy League, which has Stanford and a couple other schools in it. But in seriousness, you know, I think the Ivy League, as prestigious as they are in so many things, you don't hear a lot about them on the athletic side of things, which is unfortunate because they get a lot of great talent across all sports, especially, you know, the basketball, they've produced some good talent, and, you know, other sports like that, they've produced really good talent, but you don't really hear a lot about them come football season. You hear about them, all right, during the Harvard-Yale game and a couple times throughout the year, but they've seemed to operate it on their own schedule and their own premises in years past. So if they decide to do this, you know, how many elite non-conference games does a Harvard or a Yale or a Princeton have that will affect, you know, another big time school, even playing against like a MAC school or a Mountain West school, whatever it may be? You really don't see a lot of these Ivy League schools scheduling with these teams. So yes, they could operate on their own. They have a conference of 8 teams, and they really seem to just stay in that 8 for a majority of their season. They don't play a lot of non-cons. So say the Ivy League does decide to do this, they're different. They don't offer athletic scholarships. So there are guys who are there who are more academically focused than some of these other schools in these other conferences. Let them focus on making sure their school is back up and running first. Then you bring athletics back. And I think that's what the Ivy League's focus is at this point.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, again, the Ivy League, and to no surprise, they're on top of everything and they're doing things the smart and right way. Now, again, it depends on when spring football would begin. I'm trying to think. I know there was talk of completely losing non-conference games, which might be kind of the smart decision. So, like, let's say you start first week of March, you do an 8-game season with like maybe one bye week, and that goes until like the early beginning of May. And I'm not sure how they would do the playoff. They would do conference championships, how that would work. But I would assume, let's just say they do all that stuff. That goes to middle of May. Having a few months it's going to be a short turnaround, especially if you have like the NFL draft that's going on where these guys are still playing. How is that going to affect things going on? I would think for the following season, they might push the start of the season to maybe like the end of September and maybe cut that season down to 10 games or maybe do another 8-game season. Maybe they can push that to early October. But I was reading about how just detrimental it would be if there was just straight up no college football season, just overall how much money would be lost. I know they want to get football going somehow. So if this spring idea, personally, I mean, I still think it's kind of far out. I wanted to see how things play out. I still think there's a way that college football can be played just with no fans in the stands at all. I definitely think that they can make that happen. Maybe lose the non-conference slate or kind of rework the schedule a little. Maybe have it where it's only like 8 games and you're kind of playing like every other week, something like that. So I definitely think a fall possibility is there. But if they move it to spring, it's going to be interesting to see, because not only does it affect next season drastically, where now again you're having players that haven't played in a year and a half, you're affecting the following season in 2021 just because of how short the turnaround is. So, and even if you have no season whatsoever, then you're having nearly 2 years for a lot of these guys who aren't playing college football. And it's there's just so many different kind of things that just can go wrong, can go right. So again, it'll be interesting to see if the Ivy League does in fact do this and if other teams follow suit, because I still think there's time for a potential fall league or fall college football season.
Yeah, and you bring up the quick turnaround between the season ending and the start of next season, because it would essentially just be the summer months. I would think that realistically, if you wanted to start in the spring, wouldn't it make a lot of sense to start before March though, if assuming like things are better by then? I feel like you might want to start before then, because the biggest concern that other than, the quick turnaround to the next season and the NFL draft and the money being lost, is something, what if somebody goes out and tears an ACL? Like, that's the way that I look at it. So like, for example, if Keaton Slovis goes out and tears his ACL at the start of the season, and this is in March, not only is he going to miss the remainder of that season, but there's obviously a huge chance that he misses a chunk of next season too, with how tight those seasons could be around. It all depends on what type of injury it is. We've seen some horrific injuries in college football, but what if somebody, a star player or somebody who has that future ahead of them, or like a critical year coming up, or maybe maybe their sophomore and their junior year is going to be the year that they're going to try to get drafted. I mean, the risk of losing not just one, but potentially parts of 2 years of college football, I think could be detrimental for a lot of these guys.
Josh, when you brought that up to us earlier, sorry, Lyle just jumped in there, but when you brought that up to us earlier, that especially me, had me thinking, all right, now how does this work with eligibility? So usually when you're training at that point, you'll have time to recover, but all right, so you use 2 years of eligibility in one academic school year, possibly, or in 2 semesters. So say you're playing in the spring, you play for 8 to 10 games, you have your summer, and then you start in the fall again. In a span of 12 months, you're playing essentially 2 full seasons. So is that 2 seasons of eligibility? Is that 1.5? How are they going to go about doing the eligibility concern in that aspect?
I would think that it would be 2, because the way that I would look at it is obviously your academic eligibility is slightly different. But I would guess that, again, I don't know. I don't think anybody knows at this point, but the way that I would look at it is at that point, maybe shift it toward where you stand academically, not like what your grades are, but what year academically you are at that school. I would think might have to be in consideration, because like if you go into your junior year, but you have 2 years of eligibility left, like that doesn't line up, So like you could graduate and still play another year as a grad student or whatever, like what Matt Leinart did, what a lot of these grad transfers have done, maybe something like that. But I'm not, I mean, like if you're younger, maybe if you're a freshman or a sophomore and have certain years of eligibility left, maybe you redshirted your freshman year, maybe look to what year in school you are for your eligibility moving forward. That's the only thing I could possibly think of.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that the monetary aspect is going to have any effect on what college football and the NCAA do with what season they play it in? And I say that in the sense of, if you can play in the fall and have no fans, or play in the spring and have fans, like, is that going to play a factor, because they might make more money if there's fans in attendance, for example?
I'll jump in here real quick. I sent you guys a document a couple weeks ago, and it was from the National Football Foundation, who runs, the College Football Hall of Fame, and had like the highest viewed games from each conference, from each network. I remember, Blake, you responded with a couple things about it. Yes, I think that has something to do with it, but a majority of the schools and the conference's money doesn't come from ticket sales. It comes from boosters, obviously, that's a big part of it, but a lot of it comes from these TV deals. So say you're restricted to, all right, you can only have 25, 50% fans in the Big Ten. The Pac-12 is doing 30%, whatever it is. You're going to see these TV deals become lucrative and changed this year. You're going to have every single game being streamed, every single game available for those to watch. And so you're going to have a lot more advertisers. You're going to have a lot more. If it comes to the point where you can have no or very limited fans, the monetary value from the TV side of things and the revenue from advertisers is going to go through the roof.
Yeah, and I think if you look at for example, what the Premier League's doing in England, I mean, first of all, they had people wear masks. So right away they were already better off than we were. Yeah, it's amazing how like the numbers go down when you wear a mask. But that's what they did, and now they're testing and they don't have positive tests. And the way that they're doing it is now every single platform is streaming those games. So a lot of it's coming from the revenue there rather than putting people in the seats. But it's also worth considering over there, and it's the same thing in college football. Like if you look at professional football teams, for example, for the most part, a lot of those stadiums are the same capacity. So let's just say that like on average, the attendance between a lot of these teams in the NFL is going to be the same. But in college football, you've got a team like Washington State that's bringing 30,000 fans into a game, and then you go out to LSU and you're bringing in 95,000 fans. Like ticketing is going to be a huge difference between those two programs, which is how it is with a lot of European soccer teams. Like some teams will roll in a 20,000 seat stadium, and then Barcelona in Spain, for example, can seat like 100,000 people. So I think in college football, the ticketing won't have that much of it won't be that impacted. But I think that the revenue from television deals and streaming deals and like buying online merchandise, I think that's where a lot of the money is going to come from.
I will say this too, and I can tie it in here. So the Indy 500, the biggest single day sporting event in the world, there's over 350,000 people. All right. And they came out with, they're going to have 50% capacity, which is still 175,000, which is insane number of people. If you have renewable tickets, so essentially season tickets to this race, you are allotted half the amount that you have. So say you have 10 tickets that you renew every year. This year's race, you get 5, at least 5. You can petition to get more, whatever it is. But what they're doing is the track and the racing series is they're holding on to your money and saying those extra 5 tickets you don't get will be credited towards next year's. So say season ticket holders this year don't get their actual tickets to use. They'll say, a school will say, we'll keep your money and we'll credit it towards next year. So a lot of the money in ticketing comes from the season tickets and the season ticket renewal because they'll adjust prices a bit. But for this, they're going to have their money if they already have season tickets renewed or have season tickets on repeat. The school has your money already. You don't pay on a game-by-game basis. So a school can hold your money and sort of transfer it over. So this year at this time right now, there really isn't a whole lot of loss of money because there isn't a lot of, higher money value coming in later throughout the season every single week. If that makes sense to you guys.
I personally think that they can do fans. I don't know about the whole 50% in stadiums like they're saying, but I definitely think there's a way that they can get a solid amount of people. Like I've been saying this, where let's just say you have a group, like a family of 6, they get their tickets, and it could be like the season ticket holders get the top advantage. So you have a family of 6, and then you just have it where the seating wise goes. You have no one 3 seats to the right, 3 seats to the left, no one directly in front of you, no one directly in back of you. If you have, a group of 2 or 3, same thing where it's like no one's at 2 or 3, no one behind you, something like that. And then again, when you're like going to get concessions, people, I would hope, are smart about it now. It's the same thing when they go to the grocery store, when they go out to eat, keep the distance, don't do anything, wear the masks and all that kind of stuff. I think that there's a way, like I said, it's not going to be 50%, but for some of these big stadiums, I think they can get 20, 30,000, something like that. Maybe for some of the smaller stadiums, at least 10,000. So maybe kind of like 40% or so. I definitely think there's a way. Again, just be smart about it. And again, if they have it where there's no one within your range, you're going to be fine. So we'll have to wait and see. And also, I mean, the whole thing with the mask as well, that can be tough for, teams kind of like at ASU, where are you going to have to be wearing a mask when it's 105 degrees outside? So there's a lot that goes on with that. But I still think that we can have a college football season. I definitely think there's a way that we can get fans in. But we'll have to see tomorrow how it goes with the Ivy League and whatever they decide. Maybe a week from now, there's going to be a really lot of different things to talk about. So we'll get to that. Before we get to some other quick topics, guys, we got a donation from Joaquin Fernandez, and he actually wants to know what Josh called me about earlier today and talked about. He said, what's going to happen with overlaps like Colorado or A&M? And that's something Josh and I kind of talked about, where some of us, if we have a conference that wins, we might have a team like Texas A&M in the Big 12 and in the SEC. Well, when we have all 5 winning conferences, we'll figure it out and see if there's any overlapping teams. And I guess if there are, we're just going to pretty much figure out what works best, or, these teams become the first team ever to play in 2 conferences at once.
Yeah. I mean, when we did this, it was to figure out, it was kind of for fun to do all of our own things. And I even asked Blake, like, maybe at the end of this, we can show our full map with our conferences and what it all looks like. But then obviously some people have pointed out that if the way that we didn't necessarily plan on doing it like this, but when we like pointed out, like everybody voted and we're like, all right, well, that person's just the commissioner. And then everybody voted for somebody else. And okay, that person's the commissioner of the Big 12. We realized that we would have something like this. So working it out.
We'll see. Guys, before we move on to a few more topics, I want to get to a quick update on the Twitter poll. Lyle's currently in the lead. Well, actually, no, he's not. Whoa, I did not even see that. Josh has 39%. Lyle has 29%. Brady has 25%. And I have a nice whopping 7%. So, Josh, I think people are just teaming up against you and trying to make you feel bad. But, hey, we all do that. All right, guys, some notable topics that I jotted down. Nebraska announced that they had the highest team GPA ever for a semester. Do you guys want to take a guess at what their GPA was from this past semester that set the record?
3.1. That's my guess.
3.58.
Can you please repeat the question?
Nebraska,
Can you use it in a sentence, please?
Nebraska set their record for the best GPA for a semester. I believe it was from the football team. I don't think it was athletics. I think it was just their football team. What's your guess on what the GPA was?
You go 3.4.
3.4, you said?
3.4.
Well, none of you guys are right. We're going to round up because it was 3.297, so 3.3. It's a lot better than Texas when they set their record like a year or two ago when it was like, what, 2.7?
They were like a record 2.8, and everyone's like, this isn't good. And they like made a fancy graphic for it and tweeted it.
So Nebraska, they come in with a 3.3 GPA. So well done, guys. This is some incredible news. The Duke's Mayo Bowl, which we've talked about in previous shows, how it's now officially the best bowl game there is. The Duke's Mayo Bowl is raising money for a local food bank. And if they raise $10,000 by July 17th, fans will get to help select what the mascot of the bowl will be. So if they raise, I don't know how much they're at right now, but if they raise $10,000, so you guys can Google it or something, just Duke's Mayo Bowl donation. You guys can donate a few bucks there, and we will get to choose what the mascot would be. So, guys, let's say they get the $10,000 and they come to us since we run college football. What are you guys making the mascot of the Duke's Mayo Bowl?
This is so easy, and I just came up with it right now, and it's brilliant. I'm just gonna be honest. So those big clear plastic balls that people stand in, and you can run around in them. So like that, but it's shaped like a plastic bag. And the person who's inside this plastic bag costume has their legs sticking out the bottom and arms sticking out the sides. And the bag actually like unzips at the top, and it's just full, like half full of mayo.
Like real mayo?
Oh yeah, the person's just like in a bag full of mayo. And it's zipped up so they can breathe. And it has like a little thing so that they can stick their arms out without the mayonnaise slipping out. But that just popped into my head. I think it's brilliant.
I feel like the mascot for the Duke's Mayo Bowl has to be like a tub of mayo, doesn't it?
Or a plastic bag of mayo.
Or
I feel
a plastic bag
it's
of
too
mayo.
obvious that it should be a thing of mayo. It has to be something that completely makes no sense.
An
Where
egg.
it's straight up just like the Michigan State Spartan dude, where it's just something that just it just makes no sense.
How does the Spartan not make sense exactly?
No, that does make sense.
For a mayo?
No, for the Spartan.
Wait, I'm confused.
No, I'm saying the mascot has to make no sense. Like it's an actual Spartan for the Mayo game, where like it's something just completely irrelevant.
Whatever it is, it has to be that yellowy white color of mayonnaise.
I got a really good one. Let me open this up real quick, see if I can get it pulled up. So do you guys remember he was one of the curtain of distraction guys?
This is what I was thinking.
And it's just this guy that goes around and eats the whole jar of mayo.
Isn't his name Q?
Shirtless Q.
Shirtless Q. So congrats, Shirtless Q.
Brady, you missed the best part where he starts smearing it on his chest.
Oh yeah, dude, I can't play the GIF on my computer.
Hey, that's okay. Yeah,
there it is.
That's the official mascot. It's Shirtless Q from ASU.
They should hire. You need to put that on Twitter and tag him in it and be like, from the show's account, the new Duke's Mayo Bowl mascot is Shirtless Q.
It's Shirtless Q.
He'll retweet it too.
Oh, he will.
Yeah, so a lot of people in the comments are saying just like bowls of mayo, things of mayo, a person like in a mayo costume. There needs
Water
to be like
balloons
those,
full of mayo, and you throw them at people, and they
there
explode
needs
mayo.
to be like a like one of those like guns that shoots shirts, but it shoots like full things of mayo. You're just launching things of mayo into the stands.
You know those squirt guns, but not like the super soakers, the ones that are like
it's with mayo,
and you dip them in and you have to pull them out, and they're just full of mayo.
Yes.
And after a player scores a touchdown, they have to shotgun a thing of mayo.
Yes, exactly.
Instead of like confetti or fireworks being shot off, just mayo bombs just explode all over the place.
Nobody's gonna want to score touchdowns if they just have to shotgun some mayo.
All right, hold on. Let me just time for the Q&A. Send in those questions. I'm just typing this right now. So we're getting to the Q&A now. Guys, again, if you have a question you really want answered and you want to help out the show, feel free to donate $1 or $2 via the super chat. That way you can help out getting these guys some microphones and helping us out in the future, keeping us on Spotify. And that way you guys can get your question answered. Now, before we get to these YouTube questions, if you do follow us on Twitter, you guys get a bonus present, because as we do every week, if you follow us on Twitter, you guys do get first dibs at asking us different questions. So I posted a tweet earlier. We have about 15 to 20 replies. I took, I think, 3 or 4 of my favorite ones that I thought would be some good questions to go. So again, if you haven't already, make sure to follow the show on Twitter at the HH Show _. That way, whenever we post it, you guys can get top dibs for the questions. The first one comes from Exit Light 17. If you guys were to host College Game Day, who would be the first guest picker you guys would choose?
Does it have to be someone we know?
It could be anyone.
Jordan K.
Anyone.
You would have Lee Corso be the guest picker.
Yes. If the 4 of us stepped in to host game day, so no more Herbie or Dez, it's just the 4 of us, the first person to pick for me is Corso.
All right, that's fair. I'm trying to think, like, because there's been some good guests on, obviously. I mean, there's good guests every week, but like when Bryce Harper did it, he was fun. Or there's been so many. The first guest I'd pick, you might have to come back to me on this one. I might need some time to think. I don't know if Blake or Brady have better answers on this.
Coach O.
I like the
Coach O is where I was going to go with.
I like the Corso one.
Yeah.
But by the time we're hosting College Game Day, I don't know if he's even going to know like who he is anymore, unfortunately. So
that's fine.
That's true.
Even better.
I know. Just hear me out, guys. Hear me out. I'm not trying to get controversial or anything. I'm not trying to get controversial.
I know where this is going.
Let's just say it's the 4 of us up there. We're hosting game day. And here comes Trump.
Yeah, I knew it.
X. How entertaining would that be? All right, we got Arizona State. Well, now this is a very great game. Okay. Tempe. I love Tempe. The great people of Tempe, Arizona. It's a beautiful, beautiful city. Lots of supporters in Tempe, Arizona. Beautiful state. Every game, we could throw some random games up there and he'd pull something out of his ass about how great of a matchup it's going to be. I just think that'd be a lot of fun. I don't know why. I just thought of that. Maybe 2008 Trump, back when he was
like the Apprentice Trump.
Like, I'm taking
the Apprentice Trump. They're fired. If they lose, they're going to fire their coach. He's a great guy, though. Great guy, but he's fired.
Lyle will be like, yeah, I'm taking Notre Dame this week. He's like, that's fake news.
The Notre Dame fighting Irish. They are against me. Okay, it's the little Irish guy. They have nothing on their helmets. Brian Kelly's an awful coach. He supports the other ones. Notre Dame loses, even though they're favored by 50. Thank you. Like it'd be some good stuff. You guys can't lie.
And then Notre Dame would win, and he'd be like, I predicted it. I called it.
It's just like shows a clip of him. It's like obviously voiceover, like, I have Notre Dame winning this game by 50. Obviously. It's all it's going to be. I think Coach O would be pretty great.
Well, I hope we gave you enough time to pick who you're going to have.
Well, now you threw me all off because you go somebody like that. I guess I was only thinking sports people, but what crazy person just in the world would
tell me having Kim Jong-un say like Alabama wouldn't be awesome. Like Kim Jong-un coming up and picking Bama to win a game.
All right, we're just having the most controversial panel ever. We're getting Donnie T. We're getting Kim Jong-un. We're bringing OJ Simpson on to talk about the latest SC game.
And Reggie Bush because he's allowed back.
Reggie Bush.
All right, then I bring like Reese Davis on to try to calm everything down because otherwise the show's gonna get shut down.
Seth MacFarlane, but he has to do a different voice every time he makes a pick, and he has to have a specific reason for every single game.
That'd be pretty good.
That would be good.
Ooh.
Or what about
someone just said Joey Chestnut.
Oh, is he just gonna eat hot dogs? Like, Joey, who's your pick? Just like dropping him down.
You just said Joey. What if you get Joey, your friend Joey Brady, who does Molinaro?
Oh, Joey Molinaro, yeah.
And then you get Caliendo on the other side, and they just go at it for the pick'ems for like 15 minutes.
They just have conversations in their heads, but with each other, just out loud. That's what talking to them is like. It's weird. So short round said Queen Elizabeth II.
All right.
Well, then you have to get Carson Wentz up there too.
Well, that was a fun one. That was
a really good one.
That was a very fun question. All right, guys. This next one comes from Andrew Coster. If you guys could get rid of any current penalty in college football, what would it be and why?
Targeting. It needs to be a thing. It needs to be completely revised. Like every ounce of that penalty, every aspect, every little angle needs to be completely redone. It should be a penalty, but everything about it should change.
Oh yeah, no more getting kicked out of games. Like it should be like if there's a flagrant 1, you sit for a drive. If it's like a flagrant 2, you sit for a quarter. If it is like the worst thing you've ever seen in your entire life on a football field, then you throw them out of the game.
If a guy just comes off the sideline with like a long sword and just starts chopping at people, then you kick him out of the game.
Yeah, but like to sit like anywhere from 2 to 4 quarters because you accidentally led with the crown of your helmet and half the time you're not even hurting the guy. Like to sit a whole game for that seems nuts. 15 yards, sure. You sit a drive to a quarter, sure. A whole game, that's nuts. Like
I'd say the targeting as I kept doing this, but also I think pass interference should be revised, should be a spot foul like it is in the NFL. You see a lot of plays, especially like a long ball, you'll get late in a game and it's a pass interference, but it only moves up 15 yards. So, I'd say make pass interference. The way the NFL has it is a total cluster, but the spot foul of the pass interference rule is where I would go with that.
I'm just trying to come. Obviously, that's the one that needs a lot of work. I'm trying to come up with something.
An eligible receiver downfield. Centers are allowed to go out for passes now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get the center drag going, where the center just makes an out route.
Hell yeah. Love that.
I was just gonna say something just ridiculous, where it's like there's no such thing as offsides anymore. It's just straight up like the AFL when they have
you're allowed forward passes, so you can play like razzle dazzle football with it.
Yes, forward passes are allowed, and
so then you just.
Or you can like add a rule where it's like you're required to have like a lateral where they're like it touches people 10 times or just something like completely just that's random.
In one of our older shows, something similar to this was brought up, and Josh said, like, all right, it's kind of like hockey. If you get a flag called on you, you get put in the penalty box. So it's like, all right, 10 on 11 for a couple plays.
Yeah, I like that.
Just imagine if there was no offsides and you've got like Justin Fields in the shotgun. You have Greg Russo standing 6 inches from him, and he's like, "You better run as soon as you get this snap."
No, I'm fine.
But the defensive player can't touch them until they get the ball.
No, but he has to count to 5 Mississippi. He can stand there, but he can't.
Mississippi blitz rules.
Yes.
He can't count. He can stand offside, but he can't touch anybody until he counts to 5 Mississippi. Unless somebody blocks him first.
There you go.
Then he
All right,
can
guys,
ignore the Mississippi.
Ooh, hang on real quick. Short round. I keep going back to short round, but he's got a really good one. Let teams bring in a ringer for one game, so they get one alumni who's like currently in the NFL can come back and play in a college game.
It's like when you play FIFA, but then you like pay for like a legend player on.
Yeah, you have Pele on your team.
All right, this final Twitter question comes from Ian McKinney. I think we've answered something similar to this, but it's been definitely a while. You're stranded on an island. You can be with 3 college football coaches to keep you company. Who would they be?
Herm, Coach O, and Man, who else is cool? Who else is a fun guy?
I got my 3 right now. Well, you're waiting on that.
Either it's got to be either Lane or I'm gonna go Leach over Lane. As tough as that is to say, you either bring both of them, or I say you bring Leach, because I think Herm would be great. Coach O would be great. Also, he could make all the food.
Coach O's shrimp and gumbo down in Baton Rouge.
Yes, exactly. But Mike Leach, because I think Leach would stir up some drama with the 3 of us, and I think that would be fun. And then suddenly Herm's breaking off to talk trash about Leach, but then Coach O's over there sticking with his SEC buddy. Dude, I think that'd be great. He was also the one who accused Todd Graham of stealing signs.
Dude, this was the greatest thing ever. So I was a photographer for that game when they accused him. And at the post-game handshake, Coach Graham goes up to him and goes, "Hey, good game, chicken shit," and called him a chicken shit and ran away. That was awesome. To Mike Leach. Lyle, go ahead. Who are your 3?
I was going to go Leach and Coach O too. So those are my 2. And then my final one's Mario Cristobal, because the question here is you're on an island and obviously you want some personality, but you're still trying to live here. And Mario Cristobal, he can perform a lot of physically demanding tasks to set up your civilization and help you live, because he's a big, strong guy. So you have some personality, you have the brains and you have the bronze, not to say Cristobal's not a smart guy, but he's got the bronze for sure.
What about the Oregon strength coach?
Yeah, does he come with? Are they a package?
He comes with.
That works too.
Or the old Louisiana Lafayette coach that would headbutt his players while they were.
Oh yeah.
Oh god.
Second quarter, he's concussed, bleeding from his eyes and ears, forehead. You can see his brain, and he's out there ah!
Yeah. I would probably go Herm. Story time with Herm would be awesome. Steve Spurrier, not a current coach, but he's got some stories too. And then probably I think Urban Meyer would be a fun one to be with. He's sort of low key, he's more of a mellow guy, but he's probably got some good instincts there too.
Yeah, I think I'd go with Herm. I think Lane Kiffin definitely is a must. And for this one, I'm bringing in a combo. I'm bringing in Lou Holtz out of retirement, and he's bringing Mark May with him.
Yes.
So I miss those guys.
the great Notre Dame. No, listen, Hugo. I don't know. I'd bring those 2 just so I can hear him going back and forth with one another, just like that. Or I can just get the Geezer Dynasty, just bring in Corso and bring in Bill Snyder, and that way I can enjoy company for about a week or 2 before they all die. That's just me on the stranded island all by myself.
Good Lord, Blake.
But that
you could just say nobody.
Nobody as well. But there's some. I was thinking bring Steve Sarkisian there, but I think 2 days in he's gonna lose his mind because he hasn't had a drink of alcohol yet. So hey, we'll have to wait.
A rum gun?
Fight on. We got a donation, guys, from Bran Flakes. Now this is a great one. He wants to know who would win in a fight, Mother Teresa or Lyle.
Dude, I think she'd bring a knife.
She just pulls out nunchucks, just goes at Lyle like crazy.
Here's the real reason why Mother Teresa would win. Because Lyle would stand there what is happening? And then she'd be hitting him in the chest and Lyle would be I don't know. And then she'd get him good, and then that's what would happen. Lyle would not expect it, but she'd get him good.
This sounds like a friend of ours that for basically the entire time that I've known him loves to throw all these fake punches at me. He's gonna punch me, but then he just fakes it. And recently, or a few weeks ago, I said to him, I was like, you're lucky I'm a borderline pacifist. And that kind of applies here because I couldn't fight Mother Teresa. I couldn't throw a punch at her. Come on.
Lyle doesn't know who Mother Teresa is.
What?
I said Lyle doesn't know who Mother Teresa is.
Oh. Well, I still wouldn't fight her.
Instead, he'll take her out to a nice seafood dinner and never call her again. But that was a great question. So, and also thank you for the donation. Guys, here's a fun one. We don't have to get, because we could spend like 20, 30 minutes talking about this. I guess give like your quick 30-second instant reaction. Harrison Tolman wants to know, what do you think about Patrick Mahomes' new contract?
I think that we saw him play freshman year of college, and we bring this up all the time.
Yep.
We saw him play freshman year, and he fumbled a snap in the end zone for a safety right in front of us. It was mostly on the center, but I remember thinking going into that game, like, Pat Mahomes is going to tear us apart. But never in a million years did I think that 2 years into his pro career, he was going to be the Pat Mahomes we see now and making this much money. So that's kind of cool that his entire team got outscored by Kalen Ballage that game when he scored 8 touchdowns. And I think that's one of the weirdest games I've ever been to, and like one of the weirdest memories I have, that saw Pat Mahomes when he was at Texas Tech, did not think that he was going to be who he was now. And his entire team was outscored by one player who scored 8 touchdowns in a game. Like, never see anything like that again.
Yeah, I was the same way, and we've talked about that before. Like, I didn't walk into the stadium that day saying, oh my God, we're seeing Patrick Mahomes, as if we were going to see like Trevor Lawrence now. It wasn't like that. I thought he was just a Big 12 quarterback who was good, and he threw for a lot of yards, and he was a pretty prototypical Big 12 guy. But what he is now, it's quite the memory to have, and especially the game it turned into. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the contract, the guy's the best. We very well may be watching the greatest quarterback to ever play. And to be honest, this deal could still be a bargain. It was $503 million, so he's making essentially like $50 million a year. I don't know exactly what the QB market's going to look like in 5 years, but these days it just continues to go up and up and up and up. So in 5 years, if he's still playing at an elite level, which I don't see any reason he wouldn't be, this could be a bargain considering the market will probably still go up and he's already locked in. So yeah, great deal. You lock up the best player. You lock up the best quarterback in the game for basically the foreseeable future. And yeah, he's going to continue to win them a lot of games.
$477 million is the contract, up to 503 with incentives. But, you look at the incentives, he's pretty much going to hit all those. It's like all Pro Bowls, this amount of wins, this far into the playoffs. He's going to get it. There's some crazy numbers about this contract, though. It's like he's making like $1.2 million every 9 days, some crazy thing like that. So if you're sitting there and you're Patrick Mahomes, you're thinking, all right, what life did I just get myself into? I was a star before, but now what am I going to become? He's the real deal. And like Lyle said, it's a 10-year deal. After 5, he's going to look back at it and be like, I want more money. And guess what the Chiefs are going to do? Say, here's more money. So he's going to sign for maybe $600 million when it is all said and done. This contract could be worth about $600, but 12 years over $5 million, with the 2 years that he still is on his contract right now that are going to be paid out. Not a bad payday for Patty Mahomes.
Yeah, I'm kind of bummed that I don't have like a selfie from that game of like him in the background, so I couldn't just post like, who would have thought that these two guys would have a net worth of $500 million one day. Like, I'm just like how I got the one of me and Philip Lindsay. So hopefully if Philip Lindsay wants to get a big payday, then I can use that. But yeah, Pat Mahomes,
I got some photos from that game, and man, they were terrible. I was bad.
Guys, as always, Short Round comes in with the great questions. You can shoot also, but before I go, because I'm like going through all these like old ones, or I'm not going in order, I'm just like kind of go through all the old ones. Someone suggested Pat McAfee being on game day. Now that would be that'd be a guaranteed fun time if we were hosting Short Round. You can shoot a drink out of each finger. So you got 5 fingers. You can shoot a drink out of, or actually, or is it? I think it's only for one hand, but you're limited to 5 drinks. So same from each thumb, same from each pinky. And these are the only drinks you can have for the rest of your life. So 5 drinks, boys, are coming out of your fingers. What drinks are you loading up on?
This is sort of like a question I proposed to us the other day. It's like, all right, what are the top 3 Gatorade flavors? But, that's another question for another day.
Water out of the thumb. Index finger, I'm going. That's tough. I'll go strawberry lemonade. Middle finger. Let's go. We'll go. We got it. I mean, we've already got the strawberry lemonade. We got water. Vodka.
Yeah, you got to make mixers. Strawberry lemonade and vodka. Just one of these.
You got to make a mix. So we'll go vodka. Not for those who aren't 21. We'll go Sprite, and we'll go. Orange juice? The coffee. I mean, that was easy. It should have gone coffee.
Starbucks coffee, of course.
Of course.
Absolutely not. Okay, water, sparkling water. I'm gonna be that guy. Protein shake.
Flavored sparkling water.
Oh,
You said protein shake?
Yeah, I did.
Be drinking management.
Let's see. Gatorade. Okay. I said sparkling water. I'll say lemon sparkling water on this hand, and then the last hand is berry sparkling water. Like I don't like diversify myself in very many different drinks these days. So I'll go with those 5.
Drink some Pink Whitney, Lyle.
Oh God, no.
That stuff's gross.
What?
It's not that good.
I think the
getting on Barstool, Lyle.
That's true.
There you go, Lyle. I think the consensus is, the thumb is water, so thumbs up for that. So I'm gonna go water, sparkling water, and water here. Coke Zero, big Coke Zero guy. I changed that. Diet Dr. Pepper. Love Diet Dr. Pepper.
Vanilla Coke.
Orange vanilla Coke. 4th Jonas Brother, right here. You know it. I like Josh with the Tito's on the middle finger. No free ads, but Tito's. So I got water, Dr. Pepper, some vodka. Let's go with ice cold lemon lime Gatorade. It's got to be ice cold. And then I like the coffee, but I don't drink coffee that often. Chocolate milk.
So yeah, I got my water. That's one. I'm putting it on my pinky because why not? I'm going with milk just because one, I can enjoy a nice glass of milk in the morning for breakfast, at dinner, and plus I can have cereal. So I'm gonna go with milk. Diet Coke, that is my love. That is my life. I need Diet Coke in my life. That's my baby. I'm gonna go with 805 because that's my favorite beer. Guys, you can't pick alcoholic drinks. That is allowed. We are above 21, so that's okay. And then my 5th one. I was thinking about doing like a mixed drink, kind of like doing like a vodka Sprite, a vodka lemonade, because I like those.
Oh, hang on.
But I gotta go with Tito's. Just that's my favorite hard liquor, so I'm gonna go with Tito's for my final selection.
Now you can do a mixed drinks. Like I can replace chocolate milk. Oh, bye, Josh. I can replace like chocolate milk with like a Moscow Mule. So like, boom, Moscow Mule.
There you go.
I'm doing that instead.
Yeah. So those are mine. Now, it's tough because on the one, it should be like 5 fingers or like solid drinks. But on the other 5, you can do mixed drinks. Then it'd be just something up for debating as well. But those are mine. All right, guys, we got about
five booze, 5 mixers. Just go at it.
We have less than 10 minutes to get through a few more questions. Lions_fan02. What is your favorite non-football movie of all time? It has to be a sports movie. So I guess a sports. Oh God. So a sports movie that's not football related.
Oh man.
Yeah. Josh said for those baseball fans out there, when Spencer Torkelson won like a couple weeks ago, Josh saw like the picture with all the movie posters in his house. He's like, "Where's Summer Catch?" Which is a movie about the Chatham Anglers.
Documentary, Lyle.
Real. It happened.
It wasn't even filmed in Chatham. So no.
Hey, there were stock footage. There were stock videos of scenic shots in the town. You take that back.
All right, sure. And then I left a little comment. It's like, that's in a box next to Jack and Jill. That poster.
Lyle's top 3 is Jack and Jill, Norbit, and something else.
What is Norbit?
It's the same thing as Jack and Jill, but with Eddie Murphy.
Oh, you can throw like Sharknado in there too.
Two-headed shark attack. Great movie. Great movie.
Favorite sports movie that's not football related?
Miracle.
Yeah, okay, Miracle. I mean, I'm not even like the world's biggest hockey fan, but like Miracle's so good. I was gonna say Hoosiers is another really good one. And it's a little older, but like, I mean, it's still really good. Yeah.
Hoosiers has obviously got a spot for me. But I think I have to go with Cars 1, 2, and 3, an elite movie series, an elite movie franchise. Without Lightning McQueen, where would the world be? Who knows? So that's a great one. But I honestly, and honesty, I do love the movie Cars. Great movie.
You can quote the whole thing. I lived with him.
Yes, I can. Josh, you got me a Cars puzzle.
I did.
Well, hey, if we're going movies like that, my actual favorite movie of all time is Happy Gilmore. So then, in that case,
that's a sports movie.
Wow, I'm shocked you didn't go with that one. It's a sports movie.
It's a sports
okay,
movie.
yeah, but I thought that was too like it basically didn't count. I thought it was like more like a serious one. Oh yeah, Happy Gilmore is like the greatest movie ever made.
Yeah,
Or 42 was good.
42 was really good.
But the go-to for me is The Blind Side. But if we're not talking football, then I like Miracle, and 42 was good too.
You guys are sleeping
Airbud.
Air Bud's a great one. How can we forget about Mike Ditka's Academy Award, winning performance it should have been in Kicking and Screaming? When he told Bing Bong go get a juice box, I shed a tear. Like, Kicking and Screaming is such a good movie.
You need to cut that and put it on Twitter. Just that one.
Way to go,
line.
Bing Bong. Or no, his name's Beyond Sun, right?
Yeah, it's Beyond Sun, but
Beyond
Ditka
Sun,
can't
goes on
stop
Bing
calling
Bong.
him. Yeah, because his parents ask him to give him an autograph, and he signs it Bing Bong.
Hey guys,
I could see Lyle as the kid with his parents inside a coffee shop, and he's like, "We're getting a half calf," and Lyle goes to the person next to him, "We're getting a half calf."
We're getting a half calf, guys. Just remember, meat first.
Yes,
meat first, and pass it to the Italians.
Pass it to the Italians.
All right, guys. Also, listen,
What is this show gone to?
I just watched this last week with MJ Dodgeball.
Oh,
Dodgeball.
Did you never seen that?
No, I've seen it. I watched it for the first time in like years a week ago, and I just forgot like how.
What about Talladega Nights? That's a good one too.
I say this about Talladega Nights. The first like 45 minutes is great.
Saw Brady's reaction right away.
The second half of Talladega Nights is not good.
It's not.
Like, just say you like really thin pancakes, and I'll let you get away with it.
Nope.
Well, that's
I'll break your arm.
But that's in the first half of the movie. That's actually like not Blake's worst take. Like the second, that just happens with a lot of these comedy movies. I feel like that the second half of these movies often kind of like drag out, where the first half, like all the funny stuff is in there.
So you're telling me when him and Karen get on the table and start making animal noises, that's not a great scene?
Anyway, we got time for one more question, guys. Just because this has gone off the rails.
What is going on?
Why not one final question that'll keep us off the rails? This comes from good old Michael Collins, MC Mets 23. What are your top 5 favorite ice cream flavors?
Lyle's like all 5 vanilla.
Well, I know Lyle's not. Lyle, you're still not doing dairy?
It's not like cheese. So yeah, I guess I don't eat ice cream that much or whatever. So I guess like the bad dairy, quote unquote.
I was like, what about protein ice cream?
You can avocado ice cream. The TV
no,
diet.
Protein powder ice cream.
Cookies and cream and cookie dough are like 1 and 2 for sure.
Yeah,
those are my top 2. I don't even know what I do after
it was
that.
5.
I'll go.
I know.
Do you only have 2 or?
Well, I'm trying to even think about like what else I get. I feel like those are my go-to, and otherwise like I don't get that much other stuff. Like I feel like those are always the 2 I get.
Yeah.
I like a good mint chip.
Oh yeah.
Mint chocolate chip that's really good. I'm a sucker for cookie dough. There's like a Heath, like it's like English toffee flavored ice cream that has like the caramel swirl and like Heath bar in it. I'm huge with that. Believe it or not, I actually like, some people hate this. I really like Cold Stone's like cheesecake ice cream, because then you just get the mix-ins with like the graham cracker crust and like something else with it. That's pretty good. And then there's this you guys have like Thrifties? You guys ever been
dude, Thrifties the best ice cream.
So Rite Aid sells Thrifty ice cream, and there's a chocolate malted crunch, which is like chocolate. It's chocolate ice cream, and it's got like malt balls in it. That is my favorite ice cream of all time, and I only get it at one place every once in a while. That's my favorite ice cream ever.
That sounds incredible.
Thrifties is the best.
I agree with your original take, Josh. Is a good mint chip is really good. Anything with caramel sauce or like caramel mixed into it, top for me, or caramel as you California people call it.
No, I mix. It's different every time I say it.
Yeah, it depends what kind of mood I'm in.
Well, I know the people up in Oregon call it caramel, so they can kook right off. I don't know. A good mint chip is really good. Anything with caramel in it. Love a straight, classic chocolate. Coffee ice cream is underrated. A big fan of coffee. And peanut butter. A good peanut butter cookie ice cream.
Man, I need some ice cream right now.
I'm going to get. Yep.
I'm very basic, but for me, I love vanilla, but I'm very strict. I need vanilla bean, not French vanilla, not vanilla. Vanilla bean's the way to go. I love a good strawberry. Like when we can get strawberry chunks in there. I love some good strawberry. And I also really like orange sherbet. It's kind of random, but
underrated.
Orange sherbet is if it's a hot day and you need some orange sherbet, end me right now.
Hey,
and then
orange sherbet, sponsor us.
Just the flavor orange sherbet.
Yep. This show brought to you by Orange Sherbet.
In regards, some other good flavors. Chocolate chip cookie dough, that's always a go-to. Cookies and cream, and then sometimes if I go to Baskin Robbins, if I'm just walking by, I want to switch things up, I'll just do a Snickers flavor or Reese's flavor. But in regards to I'll never get a strawberry or a vanilla at a Baskin Robbins. It's if I'm at home, that's what we get. But if I go there, I'll probably get cookie dough or something like that. Something also, but my favorite as of right now, my favorite overall ice cream, it's Ben and Jerry's, the Tonight Dough.
Good.
Oh yeah.
Those
are all good.
Oh yeah, or what's the other one Ben and Jerry's has? Monkey bread ice cream. That's pretty good.
Fish. Yeah, I think that's a good one too.
The Tonight Dough, it's cookie dough chunks, brownie chunks.
They have something that's half baked that's really similar too.
It's fantastic.
I will say this. There's an ice cream place in Arizona. I've had this one a couple times. It's a maple bacon ice cream. So it's got small pieces of candied bacon in it. And it's
Guys,
a maple.
Is it getting hot in here?
So good.
Short Round says that Blake would be the guy to put hot sauce on his ice cream. And I've never agreed with a single comment on this show more in my entire. And
Which is ironic because I hate hot sauce. So it's already an inaccurate statement.
Adam Pfeffer dropped a Culver's concrete mixer. Those are killer.
I never had Culver's, which I'm upset about because I wanted to try their custard.
It's good.
They're Midwest thing, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Adam Pfeffer says Thrifty is the only thing he misses about California. So we have someone that appreciates Thrifty ice cream. But guys, what a better way to end our show than talking about ice cream, because that sounds absolutely fantastic considering it's 95 outside right now. But that does wrap up this week's interesting edition of the Harris Highlight Show. Thank you to everyone that tuned in as always. Thank you to everyone that donated. We're getting money towards getting these guys new mics and helping our setup moving forward. So again, we don't require money, but if you guys donate $1 or $2, we really appreciate it. So thank you to everyone that donated. Make sure to follow the show on Twitter at the HH Show _. Go vote in our poll. As of right now, guys, the update with the poll. Josh is currently in first with 41%. Brady's in second with 28. Lyle's in third with 23. And I'm up to 7% now. So we're inching our way closer, boys. We're inching our way closer to the end. But guys, listen to the show on Spotify. Listen on Apple Podcasts. If you missed any of it, you want to go back and listen, make sure to follow, subscribe over there. That way you can listen and pretty much watch and enjoy the show wherever you are. For Josh Schaefer, Lyle Goldstein, Brady Klein, this has been Blake Harris. We'll be back here next week, next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, for the final week of our conference realignment. It is the ACC, so definitely one you guys don't want to miss. Then the following week is going to be a trivia edition episode. I know a lot of you guys have been missing the trivia. A lot of you guys like the trivia, so 2 weeks, we'll be getting the trivia back. But again, make sure to follow the show on Twitter. That way you can stay up to date with us. We post a lot of fun tweets during the week. So if you're a college football fan, if you like the show, make sure you go follow and make sure you vote. And that way you stay up to date in case there's a change with the show. But guys, any parting words before we go?
Can we have class outside?
Fight on.
Let's have class outside. All right, guys, this has been Blake Harris from my bedroom in Monrovia, California. And we're going to see all you guys right back here again next week.